It's special to be an honoree at the Los Angeles Greek Film Festival. It's different than just doing a regular awards banquet or something like that for me because, I do consider myself to be Greek and to be amongst Greeks and Greek artists and be honored in that way is very, it's important to me, and it doesn't happen often. Well, my father was born in Greece, so I'm actually first generation. I consider myself a Greek American and not Greek. I have to say that because when I do go to Greece, people correct me all the time. If I say I'm Greek, they no, you're not. You're American. My mom was also Greek, born in the United States, 100% of Greek descent. I grew up in an extended Greek family, so we lived with my grandparents for many years. Greek was spoken in the house. It just felt very much a part of me. In Washington, there's no Greek town like there is Astoria in New York. Baltimore has a Greek town, Hollandtown, Detroit. There's no Greek town in D.C. So the church becomes sort of the Greek town. That's where you see everybody on Sunday. My mom taught Sunday school for 25 years. So I went to church every single Sunday. I had a perfect attendance. When I became a teenager, I played basketball for the church, Greek Orthodox Youth of America. It's what keeps boys going to church when they're teenagers. And all of those people that I played with are my friends today. It kept me there and it kept me attached to my Greek heritage. My dad had a diner. I went to work for my dad when I was 11 years old. This was 1968. Right after the death of Martin Luther King, the assassination, 4 days later, the riots started, and half the city was burned down. And after that, I saw black people in my city who comprised the majority of the city, were standing a lot taller. They were dressing more loudly. Something had changed. The rain had come and cleaned the streets. Somewhere it hit me. My father's crew was all black, except for he and I, Greek Americans. On the other side of the counter, where the customers were, was mostly all white people, white professionals wearing ties. And that counter was symbolic to me. What side of the counter are you standing on? I was a movie freak first, when I was a kid, before I was ever reading books. Being in a Greek family with my dad and my grandfather, we watched a lot of Westerns together. And Greeks really love Westerns because we love our myths. A lot of the films that were influential on me were The Magnificent Seven, the Sergio Leone films from the 60s, and then the most influential film to me was Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch. Westerns. I took a class at Maryland University my senior year, crime fiction. And the teacher, this guy Charles Misch, he hit me in a really good way. He saw these books as being valid forms of literature, books about the working class, people who don't succeed in the way that American novels usually depict success. That was what I wanted to write about, or that's what I wanted to make movies about. Those books were, of course, Dashiell Hammett, Chandler, Ross MacDonald, John D. MacDonald, Elmore Leonard. That pushed me into a different area, which was the lefties, people like John Steinbeck and Horace McCoy, newspaper men, A.I. Bezerides. That's when I saw, well, I can combine this. I can write about crime, but I can also do it from a social perspective. Recently, it just so happens that I reread the 5 great novels of James M. Cain. In The Postman Always Brings Twice, the woman is married to a Greek in the diner, and she hates being married to a Greek, and she says all this awful things about her greasy husband, and I don't want all these brown kids and this and that. It's a very patronizing look at a Greek diner owner. Cain didn't like Greek people. On the other hand, Hammett, he liked Greeks, and those were books written in the 20s and 30s. Nick Charles from The Thin Man is Charalambidis, and he's not written any different than any other white American in literature. One of my goals when I started writing books was to write about Greeks in a way that presented us with our flaws and our glories as human beings. Television wasn't very good when I was growing up, so it's not like I wanted to grow up and do television. Films went in a different direction. They went in the direction of spectacle, comic book movies. Those are all things I'm not interested in doing. And television became the place where we were telling the kinds of stories that I wanted to tell in film. The Wire was my first show. There is nothing that's going to move people more than season 4 of The Wire, where we followed those kids through the beginning of a school year to the end. It's drama, but it's shot as if it was a documentary. You're eavesdropping on these people's lives. What I respect about a person who goes to work every day without any actual hope of ever becoming anything else, he or she still gets up and goes to work every day knowing that there's no great reward to that except for the reward of work. To give dignity to those kinds of people is, in literature and on television and movies, is very important. My dad was always happiest when he was turning the key on the magazine in the morning, like that's his place. I have an office in my house that has doors on it, and every day at 9 o'clock I open those doors like my dad did, and I go to work. It's very important to me to treat it like that, to treat it like a job and to be prideful of it. I want to write better novels. I want to keep doing what I'm doing in television, which is social realism and exploring social issues. Everything that I write about is from the first 30 years of my life, where I was out there working in bars and kitchens, on sales floors, playing basketball on the other side of town, and all the relationships I made. I'm still writing about that today. It's the one thing that gets me most stoked to keep going.